Welcome everybody to our lesson 7 salt activity. These are Daikon Dave's hands and we are going to get started. So, what is salt? Well, another word for salt is sodium. So if you're looking on nutrition labels for how much salt is in our food, you are going to look under sodium. So how does our body use salt? Our bodies actually need salt to survive. Amongst other things, it helps our muscles move. It works with our nervous system in our bodies to help our muscles move. And it also helps keep water in and out and around our bodies. You know, our bodies are 60% water, and water moves around in our bodies. And I know it may be unpleasant, but if you've ever tasted your own sweat and it tastes salty, where do you think that salt comes from? It actually comes from the foods we eat. So, why don't we get started? In this activity today, we are going to compare and contrast what the FDA, or the Food and Drug Administration, wants us to eat salt-wise and what we might actually eat during a day. So let's start off with, the FDA recommends that we eat 1 teaspoon of salt. So I have my 2 containers here, and we're going to measure that out in our first container. So it is 1 teaspoon. So why don't we, in our measuring spoons, have super practice. I have 1 teaspoon of salt here, and we're going to measure out 1 teaspoon of salt. And dump that in our 1 container. Now we have our list of commonly eaten foods. So we asked our scholars in our programs what foods that they like to eat. And we have that list, and you could choose other ones on our list, but I've made some up that we can try out. So in our other container, I'm going to start off with breakfast, and I'm going to have a bowl of cereal with milk. And those each are 1/4 teaspoon. So, on our measuring spoons, we're going to find 1/4 teaspoon right here. And measure out 1/4 teaspoon for our cereal. And our milk is another 1/4 teaspoon. So let's measure out another 1/4 teaspoon of salt for our breakfast. All right, breakfast is done. We go throughout our day, and it's about lunchtime, and I'm going to treat myself to a 6-inch sub sandwich with some of those spicy, tubular, bright red corn chips. Oh, wow, a sub sandwich is 1 teaspoon, so we have to find a teaspoon. Here, 1 teaspoon. And we're going to measure 1 teaspoon out into our container. And our spicy corn chips are another 1/4 teaspoon. So we're going to measure out another 1/4 teaspoon. Okay, 1/4 teaspoon for our chips. Okay, lunch goes through and we are going through our day. I feel a little peckish and maybe I want a snack in the afternoon. Maybe some French fries. I like some French fries. How about another 1/4 teaspoon for our French fries? All right, we're gonna measure 1/4 teaspoon for our French fries. All right. And now for dinner. Might want to have some ramen soup for dinner. Ramen teaspoon, three teaspoons of sodium or salt for our ramen soup. So let's find our teaspoon. We got our teaspoon. And we're going to try 3 of these for our ramen soup. And we are practicing measuring. That's 1. You want to count with me? 1, 2, and 3. So that's what we're going to have for our meal for the day. And what we're going to do now is compare and contrast the 2 containers. Which one do you think will have more? This is the one that is recommended for us. And this is what we actually ate in salt during the day. You see that? One is probably significantly bigger than the other one. Wow, okay. So, we found out that what we probably should eat and what we possibly could eat during the day is probably a lot more. So, how do you think we can have less salt in our diet if we made this at home? Could it be to have a fruit or vegetable with every snack and meal? I think we learned last week that we dipped fruits and vegetables in our guacamole, or we actually had fresh fruit slices on our sun butter sandwich. Yeah, so thank you for coming out today. Probably want to click on curriculum, go to foodliteracycenter.org, click on curriculum for future lessons. And don't forget to join Meyer later on today to make a tasty noodle soup. Thank you so much for coming with us today, and we will see you next time.